I guess I always just thought I was helping out, right? I never realized like, oh, people could pay me to do this?
Hello and welcome to Did I Do That? It's a podcast about graphic designers making mistakes, because when it comes to making just about anything, it's all part of the process. I'm Sean Shoemaker, and joining me today, a very special guest. She started her career in event planning and cobbling before taking the next step into design, where she's done work for the likes of Nike, the University of Pittsburgh, IHG, and many more. These days, she serves as the senior visual design lead on the player experience editorial and loyalty team for Xbox, while also serving as the co-founder and co-chair of the mentorship program as part of AIGA Portland. It's Gianni Scarpino Candy. Hi!
Hey, Sean, thanks for having me.
So, Johnny, it's been a pretty wild time, to be alive.
To say the least.
Being honest, I can't imagine that's going to have changed by the time this goes out in May. I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like I could use a vacation.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, those are really expensive. I was trying to maybe I could just get a bus ticket out to Bend. You know what that costs? $70.
For a bus?
For a bus.
They should be paying you.
Yeah, I know. And to go to Bend, not an exciting place. So I'm going to have to settle for a little escapism in the form of something that we've been talking about a lot with folks this season. Mm-hmm. Video games. Mm-hmm. Now, Gianni, you work at Xbox, so I feel like you're probably familiar with these dang things.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
These digital worlds that,
yes. Hundreds of hours just lost. Where do they go? I don't know. Whole different world.
Yeah, it's somehow the worlds are all made out of ones and zeros, and you go inside and you're in the Matrix, and then there's a guy that puts a plug in the back of your head. I don't know. I definitely know a lot about gaming, clearly. Mm-hmm. But I will say, I've been, trying to do a little bit more gaming. But I feel like the more that I have been doing it, the more I have been noticing that there's just a lot of the real world kind of creeping into even that space. Mm-hmm. Specifically in the form of ill-suited brand collaborations attempting to appeal to a youth demographic. Really emphasis on attempting. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
And just bringing sort of the horrible realities of capitalism into those fantasy realms.
Yep.
So I wanted to take note of a couple of these that I've really been just clocking. And the first one of these that I took notice of was last year with Roblox, the popular child money extraction service, which I'm told also has a game component to it. Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of company do you think tried to partner with Roblox to make an experience for children? And I will warn you before you answer this question, I do not think if I gave you 10 billion tries, you would guess the answer to this.
Ooh.
So ill-suited is this collaboration.
It's got to be Jay and Silent Bob.
God, actually, I would really enjoy that. But no, I'll tell you this. The thing that partnered provides a service that was just due.
Oh, TurboTax?
Oh, so close. It is, of course, H&R Block.
Get out of here.
H&R Block. Here's actually the first line of the press release. H&R Block, the company that pioneered tax preparation category 70 years ago, has launched a highly immersive tax-themed experience within popular Roblox games, Mega Mansion Tycoon and Club Roblox. The first ever tax company to do so.
Oh my God, how did we get there?
For ages 18 or older. So that opens up its own question.
Age-gated.
Yeah. But the real big question is, you mean to tell me no one has tried to foist tax preparation on tweens in their exploitative games? Impossible to imagine, isn't it?
All right.
What is even more wild about that, though, is that press release is wrong.
Come again?
I know, because your first guess, TurboTax, had their own immersive gaming experience in Fortnite about a week before that.
Somehow that's less surprising.
Yeah. Oh, what can I say? Awful minds think alike.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to highlight Roblox here because I think they are also responsible for what I would characterize as being, by leaps and bounds, the most depressing of these, which for some reason involves the Salvation Army.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, really, it's not them creating a digital version of an old man who is sadly ringing a bell inside the vestibule of a Target. No, Roblox has made something much worse, which is a Salvation Army thrift store in Roblox.
Okay.
It opens up a lot of questions, doesn't it?
It does. Where is the money going there? The Salvation Army? Where is the money going? How much money are they getting? Is it only change?
Great question. These are all really wonderful questions. And from everything that I have read about this, there are no answers. So what I will say is that this does feel distasteful because I think it is. The way the digital thrift store includes like curated influencer drops and microtransaction in Roblox currency certainly makes it feels like both parties are complicit in the Macklemorification of thrifting here. Like trying to turn something that exists to support the poor rather than make money, becoming instead what it mostly is these days, an exploitative game where folks are falling over themselves to become the next in a long line of middlemen, jacking up prices on used goods. So I do think most of the things that are for sale in this Salvation Army are just meant to be resold on the secondary Roblox market.
Right?
Which is really weird.
That is strange.
So those are some big downers. And I think the thing that these are trying to do is something that I am inherently reacting against, which is bringing the real world into a game. That said, over the past couple weeks, I have been immensely targeted by a pretty bizarre collab between Warcraft, a very old fantasy game, and for some reason, Zillow.
Okay.
Yeah. This one, I will say, should be like the others. It's not a brand match in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't sound like. But what is interesting about this is that there is, as far as I can tell, no in-game experience at all. Instead, the evils of unchecked capitalism are safely contained to our world, where they can and already do the most harm. So I wanted to show you this incredible website that they have built. Zillow for Warcraft.
No joke.
Yeah, so it pretty instantly it like captures your attention, doesn't it?
This is definitely targeting a very specific age.
Yeah,
I see where marketing is coming
bracket.
from.
Yeah.
I see. They know how to gamify a very terrible process, which is buying a house.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Zillow perhaps doing the worst work in this space, just making that process unattainable. So you're on kind of the homepage, this really lovely homepage. It feels like Zillow, but maybe a little bit more handcrafted, hand-hewn.
It doesn't feel like real money. It's more fun. It's like you're in there. Like, I could just buy this housewarming gift to make my guests feel at home.
You could buy the housewarming gift, but you could also buy the house. Do you want to tap on one of those house listings? Maybe one that interests you?
Oh, let's look at Silver Moon Chic.
Oh, I love Silver Moon Chic. That's a good listing. Yeah.
Razorwood Shores. Ooh.
So what they have done, and I think this is the thing that I find very fascinating, is that this is not just the thing that a lot of these are, which is just a press release. This is, in fact, an entire website with a lot of pages, probably about 40 pages.
This is incredible.
Yeah, many of them individual listings for fantasy houses with a great deal of copywriting involved that all feels written by humans, too.
Absolutely. They had so much fun doing this. Look, there's a walk score, a portal accessibility, a flight score. They had so much fun.
Oh, whatever agency. Hey, if you worked for the agency that did this work, please let me know, because I love it. I could not figure out who the agency of record would be, considering, who is in charge of this collaboration. But it is really fascinating. Like, there's a lot of depth on each of these pages, and there's so many pages.
There's a lot. I hope it's a whole agency and not just one person that's just doing this for funds. It's just the Zillow designer gone wild.
Yeah. This is somebody's graduate thesis project that accidentally escaped into the real world. But I think what I really appreciate it looks nice. It had the thought that somebody really wanted to build a world in the way that video games have. So there are, in addition to the listings, realtors. Bektar Dawnhammer has 5 stars and quite a lot of well copywritten reviews. One that really stood out to me from someone with the handle Lich King, do not recommend, assured me that my fortress was impenetrable. Great. Funny. I love it. Why wouldn't I like that? But, what I really like is that it does feel like some sort of fantasy Weird Al version of Zillow. Like, it is not trying to be the game. It's trying to be this other thing.
It is breaking into our present day world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really blurring the lines.
To that end, those fake real estate agents like Bektar have actual @Zillow.com email addresses, I learned. Oh, yes.
That's beyond collab.
That's a lot of work that somebody did.
That is.
And what is interesting is that when you click on them for the fake houses on the fake website to inquire about them, they actually open up an email. And so I was like, well, sure, why don't I?
Absolutely.
Why don't I email Bektar? And I genuinely wondered after I sent that email, am I going to actually be talking to a junior copywriter at an agency and this like burning precious billable hours for whatever weird project this is?
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know, maybe I'm going to be talking to an AI and that's burning precious actual water. I don't know. But like, it was very intriguing, the possibility. Now, what I actually got back was an auto response almost immediately. But what I did appreciate was that moment of delight of thinking that maybe this orcish realtor was going to offer me recommendations for housing near Azerothian universities. Like, great. It's super cool. And it was such a fun experience visiting this site. And I think you experienced that wonder when I handed you the iPad just now. Like, why aren't more companies doing it this way?
Because it's just for fun. I mean, that's like just strictly for fun. It's like, oh, we had a fun idea and we ran with it.
Exactly. And it made me feel better about the two companies involved.
I mean, it's like, how do you measure the ROI of that? You know, it's like, well, I got so many smiles.
I guess so. I guess, we're not making Robux or whatever the hell the Roblox currency is. But there's something really interesting about just like what happens when you let the weirdness of the project be your guide rather than being like, we got to be video games. We got to be in the game, right? No.
It is. It's like being less precious with your brand, especially a brand that's been around for 20 something years.
Yeah,
like, you can certainly have fun with it. You can break character a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It's still like in your world. Like you created a world. It doesn't need to be a stodgy brand that only uses the same 5 colors and the same 5 characters, right?
Yeah. This is, and like the way that this breaks the Zillow brand, which I feel like is exactly that.
Yes.
Is genuinely delightful. So kudos to
absolutely Redfin, watch out.
Yeah.
Coming for you.
Yeah, what brand, what video game is Redfin going to collaborate with?
Probably Fortnite. I feel like
God,
everyone
it's all
does a collab with Fortnite.
Yeah. They've got The Simpsons. They've got yeah. That one is really weird too, because it's like you can play as Bart, which means that you can kill Bart in that game. Which is a really weird vibe.
And they're like, sure, you could do that with my IP.
I guess so. I guess you could have Homer kill Bart in this one, but I don't know. That feels like maybe somebody should have talked through that.
Is that what the people want?
Yeah. Do we need Stewie Griffin to be murdered in this? I'm not sure.
Never try, never know.
I'm not sure. My Little Pony murder Stewie Griffin. I think, that's the next brand collaboration that we need. But Gianni, you didn't come here to talk about whatever this was. Cartoon characters killing each other, I guess.
I'm here for it, though.
But yeah, you have a very interesting path into design practice. Now, you grew up in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Western PA. Yeah, home of Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Ketchup. And more bridges than Portland, actually.
That is true. There is a lot of bridges in Pittsburgh. I've only been once, but I had a really great time. My favorite time there was actually, I was taking a cab back. The Pittsburgh airport, very far away from Pittsburgh.
Not close.
Not close in any way. And the guy who was driving my cab told me that he lived, the big cemetery there, what is that called? Do you remember?
The Lawrenceville Cemetery?
Probably that. He was saying that he lived in the cemetery and was operating some sort of like wood crafting business out of like the keeper's house of the cemetery.
I feel like I might know who you're talking about. I forget his name, but yes, there really is somebody who always lives there at the cemetery, and they live there for free essentially. So their job though is every morning to open up the cemetery and then every evening at dusk to close it as well.
But you get essentially like free lodging for doing that responsibility. Yeah, I've truly been thinking about that guy for like 12 or 13 years.
It is a great gig.
It seemed really, he was the most interesting person I met by far.
If it was the same person and it was circa 2011, they had a really killer Halloween party there at the crypt. I don't think they were supposed to, but I think the statute of limitations has expired and I can out them.
Yeah, I think it's got to be safe. Whoever was, in charge of the cemetery is probably interned in the cemetery by then. That's so long ago. But yeah, like Pittsburgh is a very creative city in that way. There's a lot of like kind of creative energy. Were you kind of feeling that as you were growing up? Like,
it kind of took a turn, right? So Pittsburgh's a really interesting case because it was kind of founded on the steel mills and all that industry.
Yeah.
And then it switched sometime in my later life where it was, they found their footing in healthcare and tech industry.
Yes.
But not really the creative industry necessarily yet, at least like that I saw. It might have changed since I left. But that wasn't really something I saw completely. I'd say the creativity was more entrepreneurship,
Yeah,
DIY, and like strict art, not like design and ads.
Now, when you get to college, you end up going to the University of Pittsburgh, and you end up dual majoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I studied both architectural studies and studio arts, but kind of by accident. I didn't really want to go to college. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I also had that DIY entrepreneurial spirit where I just want to go figure it out, you know? But I'm first generation college. It was important I go.
Yeah.
And I always kind of liked school, but I needed art classes to stay sane.
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't really mean to be an art major. I just kept taking art classes because I'm like, well, if I'm here, I need to keep making and doing stuff. It was just some sort of fabric in me I just needed to do.
Was that like sort of as a release valve from the architecture major, which I know can be pretty intense?
Yeah, and just from the whole environment, really. Architecture just kind of happened because, like every good story, a guidance counselor told me it was practical and I should. So I said, okay. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it upon graduation. That wasn't really in the forefront of my mind at the time. I was just, surviving 2 majors in 4 years and working the whole time.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, yeah, like to think about how intense an architecture degree usually is and to be doing studio art on top of it.
Yeah, my plan was to probably do, I did an internship with an artist, Delaney Jenkins. And she kind of prompted me more towards interior design. So I was like, maybe I'll do something like that. I was really into kind of space. Like for my studio arts degree, I was really focused on sculpture and then architecture, of course, the study of humans in space.
Yeah.
So I thought I would end up somewhere like that. But then realistically, when it came time to graduate for my architecture degree, I needed an internship. And 21-year-old Gianni did not want to run AutoCAD all summer in what I just assumed would be some old guy's office.
Yeah. Designing a parking garage or something even less exciting than that.
Which is probably a great omen. If you don't want to do that for a summer, you probably shouldn't do that for a lifetime.
No, definitely not.
But I was fortunate. I found an architect in Pittsburgh who opened up a floral design studio.
Oh, sure. This is the McGeary Floral and Event Design.
Exactly.
Company. Yeah.
Yes. So I did my internship with her, and then it ended up being my job for the next couple years out of college.
Yeah. So, like, immediately once you graduate, you are going into event production.
Exactly. It was almost a reaction to the other, right?
Yeah.
So studying architecture, you study these greats who it takes them a lifetime, some of them, to see their building come to fruition.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm wildly impatient. Like that was not going to work for me. But in events, you can take a vision and it comes to life within 9 to 12 months.
Yeah.
And you're transforming something like, a beige ballroom into something miraculous.
Yeah.
And it changes every weekend to the next person's vision.
Oh,
which is, it's magical, really.
And there is a temporality about it, too, because the thing at the end just goes away and like everything goes in the trash and you have to move on to the next thing.
Which is also wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Onward and upward.
There's something beautiful about it, but it's also absolutely terrifying, too.
Yeah.
Had you done like event stuff at all before that? Like had you
It was a whole new world for me. No, I was wildly intimidated as well. Because, these aren't like small events either. These are like $100,000 weddings every single weekend, galas, corporate events.
With very specific needs, I'm sure.
And they're all important. They all want to be individual and unique, right?
Yeah.
So it was a whole new world, but it was great for me at the time because it was very hands-on. Again, it wasn't actually computer work at all. It was literally, okay, here's a prop. You need to paint it so it looks patinaed this weekend. Next weekend, we need to make it look like it's dipped in gold. Next weekend, all white and modern, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So you're building, you're bringing these things to life.
Yeah, there's a real element of almost like show production craft to this, where you are thinking about props and what can you do quickly with what you have on hand.
Very florists are the scrappiest people in the world. They're so quick-witted because it's just insane because you're working in these high-intensity environments with living things, right?
Yeah.
Like these plants are alive.
And I'm sure people have like very realistic ideas about what is possible to do with a thing that is alive also. Like, can a flower that doesn't grow right now be in my wedding, or a flower that doesn't exist be in my wedding?
Yeah, or just blue flowers, right? Like, there's not that many blue flowers, right?
No.
So,
and
hard to come by.
As I've learned from every visit I've ever had to Safeway, when you dye them, they just look very strange.
Yes, exactly.
They do not look normal and correct anymore. What do you end up, I guess, learning from that?
I think it's just learning, like, quick-witted, being on your feet. So just knowing something's always going to go wrong. I think it, like, really prepped me for high-intensity environments.
Yeah.
Like, there was one wedding we were doing, and it was about 3 hours outside of Pittsburgh in Omni Bedford Springs. And to get the flowers out there, so I also drove the box truck. So I was a scrawny little thing driving these big old trucks, which I loved. And to get out there, though, with a big truck full of flowers, I had to leave around like 4 a.m. or so.
Oh.
So they don't just cook in the back, right?
Right, yeah.
And I was on my game. I was so excited. I was, doing this huge wedding. And I took a turn a little hard, and I could just hear the back of the truck. All these flowers just, they just bit it. And then I had to drive for another hour.
Oh, no. There's not even a place you can pull over.
I was scared. I was so scared.
That's fair.
And then I get there, and they were all white flowers, which unfortunately, when white flowers take a tumble, they bruise.
Right.
And they don't bruise they bruise pretty instantly.
Yeah.
So they turn brown.
The bananas of flowers, basically.
Mm-hmm. So what I did was I got baby powder, and I covered these flowers with baby powder. I was like putting foundation makeup on these, just petting these flowers in all the crevices. And, not too much so that it looks obvious, but enough to really hide the bruising.
Oh, sure.
And no one knew any better.
Honestly, that's a pretty clever solve. Yeah, because, it's kind of doing the same thing, ultimately.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Like, there must be a million stories like that of just things that you've...
Find an older florist for this podcast. They got all the scrappy solutions. It is wild.
Yeah. Florists turned graphic designers, please reach out. I would love to talk about more of those journeys. So you end up doing that for about a year, right?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe 2, 3. And then, it's funny, like there's no clean transitions in hindsight. It's like there's just something and it's like, time to go.
Well, especially when you're in your early 20s. Like there is that sense of like, oh yeah, I could just... Nothing really matters, and I could just pick up and leave, and no one would know.
100%. Especially when you have a mounting, student loan debt, you're just like, nothing really matters.
Yeah. I imagine at this point too, like you've grown up in Pittsburgh, you've been there like 20 plus years. There's probably that sense of like, I would love to try somewhere else.
100%. That was really at the fulcrum of my existence at the time.
Yeah.
You really nailed that.
And where you end up is Tucson.
Yeah.
Which is about the most opposite to Pittsburgh that I can think. Yeah.
I knew nothing about it before I went. I had a friend who was in grad school there, and he had a casita, like a little house in his backyard.
Oh, yeah.
And he was offering to rent it out. And I was like, great, let's try it.
Oh, just as simple as that. It's like, there's the opportunity, so I'm going to go.
I think it was also just the opportunity of getting away from something as well.
Truly.
I didn't know what I was going towards. I just needed something to change.
Yeah.
So I spent some time, not too long in Tucson, Arizona. I'd say long enough. Found out I'm not a desert girly. But
that is a good thing to know. Yeah. Because it is, it's not forgiving, that environment. No.
But... I had some crazy jobs there.
Yeah.
I worked at an Irish pub. I was a waitress there. I was an ice hockey coach on a military base there. And I was a shoe cobbler.
Well, yeah. So the shoe cobbler is kind of the most important one. But I gotta say, I'm a little interested in ice hockey coach because doesn't seem like the ideal environment for that.
Not at all. And also, I don't really ice skate. But since I was from Pittsburgh, I just said, well, I didn't lie. I just said... Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, and they just assumed I could ice skate. So, and it was also fake ice. It was, it wasn't even real ice.
Of course.
So it was even harder to ice skate on.
Yeah. Where would they get real ice? They've never seen it. But yeah, it's like, it's close enough to Canada, I guess.
Yeah. They're like, great. And it's like, oh, she's young. She seems responsible. Great. And she passed her background check since it was on a military base. So it was like, great.
Oh, yeah. That's weird. All right. But yeah, cobbling ends up being kind of an important thing later on, too.
Absolutely. And who would have thought?
How do you find that job? I guess
so glad you asked.
Because it doesn't feel like that connects with the other ones either.
It doesn't. So I was on Craigslist at the time. That's how you found jobs, was on Craigslist.
Of course.
Gigs.
Yeah.
And I found this, and I was like, oh my God, a shoe cobbler? That sounds great. And my middle name is Scarpino, which means Scarpe is shoe and Ino is little. And the story is my great-grandfather was a shoemaker in Italy.
Oh, that like close generationally.
What I hear, yes.
Yeah, because I mean, Shoemaker, someone way back was a shoemaker.
Exactly.
Or mocked shoes. We've never been able to quite tell. But like, truly, we don't know. Like, it was something that happened probably like in the 1700s or something. Like, yeah.
And you might never know.
No.
Yeah.
So it's that close that you actually know, you know, like, hey, there's a family member who did this.
So when I saw the listing, you know, and I needed a job, and I was like, that sounds like working with your hands, that sounds great. So I emailed them and I said, hey, you know, my great-grandfather was a shoemaker. My last name's Scarpino. Like, I am genetically qualified for this position. Attached is my resume. So bold.
That's, wow, yeah.
And they responded and said, thanks so much for reaching out. You attached a picture of the western half of the United States. Can you please attach your resume? I was like, oh. How embarrassing.
Why did you have a picture of the Western half?
Well, like every good early designer, I was blogging about the whole experience, right? So I was writing, I was creating assets. Right. So I was very much like in the digital content creation without even knowing it. You know?
Yeah.
So I was recording all of this journey at the time through a blog called Sorry Mom Travel Blog.
Oh my God, I wish I had found that. That would be...
It does not exist. I checked. Sorry fans, you cannot find it.
Damn it.
Archived.
But yeah, that's incredible. Like to think, you are documenting this journey. So yeah, parts of that are going to start to bleed into the journey itself.
And working at the cobbler shop. So I was the assistant cobbler for Gary. Gary was the lead cobbler. And it was basically just a bunch of like older, like, I don't know, art grads, to be honest. Like they were all artists in their own right.
I would not have expected that.
Yeah. And it was the greatest job ever. So it was really intimidating at first because like a shoe grind, like the grinder, we call it the grindy. It's just like this giant belt sander with like 10 different belts on it that could all just destroy you if you make one wrong step. It's not a very safety first type of equipment.
Oh, sure.
So it was a lot of cleaning soles, replacing half soles, full soles, and heels, like high heels. When I was working on the grinder, what I did a lot was you're essentially grinding leather and like getting all, you know, just like working with this belt sander.
Yeah.
And I loved it. To be honest, I loved all of it. But I would come home at night and I would blow my nose and just leather would come out. Just rubber and leather.
No.
And my hands were just always discolored, you know, and they were discovered from the florist too. Like, you know, I spent years just having paint on my hands and materials on my hands.
So you're gonna get like, you know, like what miners get. Like this is shoemaker's lung or something. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, and the thought of wearing a mask didn't occur at the time.
No.
So I was like, okay, this probably isn't sustainable, and also I don't think the desert's for me.
So kind of two very big problems, I would say. I mean, it does seem like that made an impression on you because, like, you do kind of return to it later on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like at that age, you're just really looking for your medium, right? Especially as a creative, like, okay, like I know I'm creative, but like, what do I apply that to?
Yeah.
Like, what am I good at, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of more of like the industry part of it, right? Just trying to figure out like, where do I fit in? You know, I think that was my entry into it as well. Just learning about all different types, things like that. Because it wasn't really sneakerhead culture.
No.
Actually, it was very opposite of sneakerhead culture,
I would imagine.
Right?
Probably a lot of very traditional,
Birkenstocks, loafers, things like that,
hammering a wooden sole onto a thing,
Very different, yeah.
You know, but like that is also a very interesting baseline to come into footwear with, where you are just thinking about like, well, what is the long arc of history around these things?
But before I got to figure that part out, right, I ended up back in Pittsburgh just because Tucson was not for me. Wasn't sure where to go next. So I went back into events again. This time I did linen sales at Mosaic Linen Company.
Yes. It's owned by Susie Perlman, who also sort of co-founded a nonprofit that you had been volunteering for back in the day, Event Pros Take Action.
EPTA,
Yeah. Kind of helping to, you know, use folks from the events industry to do good. Especially, it sounds like Hurricane Katrina was a
that was
big
really
focus.
where it kicked off. Yeah. We'd go down to New Orleans, I think once a year. I would go sometimes, but they would have one kind of design angel. It was basically, it felt like a reality show. Like they really just meet with somebody and kind of bring their vision to life and like rebuild their house and redesign it. It's pretty powerful stuff.
But that's incredible. Like that's using industry's good to like make people's lives better. You know, definitely a lot more quickly just based on how you know how to make things and put things up than
you get the scrappiest people in the world and you put them all together and you get magic. They do it real fast.
Hey, you know, it works. It works. So yeah, you were at Mosaic in 2014.
Yeah, I was a design consultant there, which my biggest takeaway there. So that was more, you know, I got away from kind of the scrappy hands-on part, and I was now in an office Monday through Friday, meeting with clients, learning communication skills, learning about stakeholders, and learning about taste as well. Yeah. Right? That was a big thing that I had to really learn. And, the whole process, it was very art school coded. So for being a design consultant in linen sales, what you do is you have, like, let's say it's a wedding, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you have bride-to-be, groom-to-be, parents, in-laws, maid of honor, all these kind of stakeholders in one room at a time. And you look at linens together, and you take a linen, and you put it on the table, and then you step back and critique its performance. And it is the most static linen, right? It's just there on the table.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to tell people what they're seeing. So I kind of started getting really into it and started like really hamming up their vision, right?
I was going to say, it feels like you're going to have to exaggerate the experience at a certain point just for your own sanity.
Literally, yes. I used to have like a bingo card of how many times can I say the word je ne sais quoi in a meeting? Like,
a word that famously means nothing.
Literally,
also,
but it works.
Yeah. Did you ever have an experience where there were two basically identical tablecloths that people were trying to decide
all the time between champagne and rose or rosé? It's like it's so similar.
Well, this one's got the je ne sais quoi, but this one's got
100%.
It's got that spark. It's got that spark.
And you got to imagine it in low lighting with your blue flowers. You got to really paint the scene for them.
Oh.
Or you just tell them to use Steeler colors, and then they also love that too.
Well, yeah.
Just black and yellow. There you go.
I mean, lean into what's easy. I bet there's probably a lot of stuff set aside already just for those. But I imagine it's also kind of during that time that you start to discover graphic design.
Exactly, yeah. So the cool thing about working for small businesses is that they always have needs.
Yeah.
And they'll just let you go for it, right? So I started doing all the ads for Mosaic at the time. And it's, in hindsight, they were all very scrappy again because, I only had one class with InDesign in college. Otherwise, I just messed around with Photoshop and Illustrator myself. So to make these ads, like there was one for an event at the JCC called Big Game Night. So you're supposed to make ads that are kind of game themed for their brochure. So I got a Scrabble game from the thrift shop and I, spelled out Mosaic and I was photographing it. So it was still very like the hands-on approach to graphic design. And then in hindsight, just threw text on there without thinking probably, of all the elements I should have.
Yeah.
But, they let me make mistakes. They let me make a lot of mistakes there, actually.
Well, but that is such a useful thing to be able to feel like, I am making a thing and it does have a tangible like result in the real world.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you see it in life and it's like, it feels great.
Yeah.
So you got this early taste of, like, I guess I always just thought I was helping out, right? I never realized like, people could pay me to do this?
I was just its own thing.
That like didn't even dawn on me till later.
Yeah, but it totally makes sense because it's just it is problem solving.
Absolutely.
Really more than anything else. That being said, when you end up leaving Mosaic, you do kind of focus more on freelance design.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I was always just saying yes to every project at the time just because I was like, I need to get good at this, right? So when I was working at Mosaic, I was working Monday through Friday in the office, but then I was setting up weddings on weekends, tearing down events.
You're still doing event stuff.
I was. And so I was working, and also when you work at events, you work literally every holiday and weekend. Like literally when everybody else is having fun, you're always working.
When are you sleeping in all of this?
It was insane. So I would literally go clean up weddings at 2 a.m.
Oh,
It was part of the hustle. And at the time I was dating this guy who worked like a normal 9-to-5 job and he traveled. So he was only ever home on weekends.
Oh.
And he's now my husband. So that's also when I was like, if I ever want to see you, this is not going to work out. Like, what am I doing with my life? This is really hard. It's hard work too. It's really heavy and physical. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm really good at this thing. I like helping people with these kind of design projects. I need to get good at this.
Yeah.
So I think I overcompensated a little bit trying to get really good at it. And eventually I tricked the University of Pittsburgh into hiring me. I still don't know how I pulled that one off, but shout out to nonprofits. Again, they're just really happy with anything that you do and they let you make all the errors you want. They help figure it out with you.
It sounds like you do some freelance for them and then you end up as a communication and design manager at the College of Education's Office of Child Development.
Yes. So you can imagine how dense the text is on every asset.
There's so... friends, if you don't live the university lifestyle that I live, there's so many layers of things that don't even make sense to have layers.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of text on the nameplate.
And it's a lot of just like learning a whole new language also. So it's like, and I was also the only graphic designer, so I didn't have anybody to ask questions to in the office.
Oh, that's the best. That's the most fun. No one understands what you do or how long anything takes.
No. But I had, like, every new job, you have the person who was there before you's files.
Oh,
so
sure.
I studied those.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to everybody who's ever worked before me, because I'm always in their files studying. I'm like, okay, here's what they did. Here's what I could do.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot through that process.
Well, yeah, and that's a great way of approaching, like, what are the recurring tasks that I'll need to do? Because, like, this is an entirely new realm. It's like, you've been to college, but now you're on the other side of it, you know?
Which is wild.
Yeah.
It's another lifting up of the curtain. You're like, wait, what?
Oh, that's what's in
humans?
that sad break room. Oh, it's so much worse than I ever thought it was.
But they gave me a cubicle, so it felt right. You know, again, my hands weren't dirty anymore.
Yeah.
It was neat.
No blowing out the nose and getting a bunch of rubber in your tissue at the end of the day.
No more rubber, no 2 a.m. cleanups. It was different.
No grinders, maybe hoagies, potentially. Yeah. Depending on the region. Which one is it in Pittsburgh? Is it grinders? Is it hoagies?
It's hoagies.
Okay,
it's hoagies,
cool.
100%.
Yeah.
Or pastrami sandwiches is actually the real go-to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a truck stop. It started as a truck stop sandwich. It's basically a sandwich, but they put the coleslaw and the french fries on top of it. So truckers could eat it all on the go. They don't have like different sides.
Interesting.
And now it's still a thing.
Is that like a Sheets thing, or is that like just a, you know?
It's its own thing. But shout out to Sheets. I do love me some Sheets.
I am fascinated with Sheets. All of those, like, we made a convenience store, but it's good. Like, why aren't they all that way? It seems like it should be an easy thing.
I agree.
But yeah, like, what kinds of things do you end up doing at that office?
It's funny. It's almost like you blanket out those early projects because they're so cringe in hindsight. You know, you're like, what did I do?
Well,
what did they let me do?
Yeah.
Lots of annual reports, lots of flyers, community engagement things. Lots of photo editing as well.
I would imagine a lot of learning how to be on brand too, which is probably not something that you would have had to do as much for like
exactly.
Mosaic. A place like that where they're 3 layers deep into the institution, they probably have some brand guidelines that they want very strictly followed.
They sure do. And they were always fast. I just remember studying them. I'm like, these are so cool. Somebody made these rules. and I'm like, I'm going to follow every one of them, you know?
Yeah, some person at a branding agency is like, thank God someone's doing it. That's a really important learning experience for, you know, just like figuring out how design works within an institution like that.
Yeah, but I knew it wasn't quite for me, which was really hard to tell them at the time because everybody there was so wonderful and they're just so brilliant to work with.
So kind of while that is also happening, you are kind of going back a little bit and discovering footwear again. Do you sort of want to talk about Pencil a little bit? How did you even discover it? I guess because I mean, you'd never been to Portland before.
No,
it sounds like
I didn't know anything. You know, I was looking for careers in footwear. Maybe I wasn't really sure. I was also looking up just kind of free education, and Pencil is a free program, which is also free run. So I was also trying to just find like ways to get extra education. I was thinking at the time I was going to do more 3D design.
Yeah.
So I was messing around with Fusion 360 a lot. I was actually making shoes in Fusion 360 at the time too.
Which like makes total sense, like with the architecture like part still kind of untapped. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just found it online when I was just desperately searching for where am I going? And then, you know, so that's kind of why I had like 1 foot in the pit door, but like also 1 foot in this new world that I wanted to go after. Finding your passion, finding like what you're ambitious about is the hardest thing in the world. Yeah. Because I felt like at the time where I was like, okay, I'm ready to jump. I'm ready to 100% commit, but I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So you're just like desperately seeking that thing. And then I think I found it with Pencil. So Pencil Footwear Design Academy was in Portland, Oregon. No longer there, no longer here.
No, recently restarted in Detroit as the Pencil Lewis College of Design and Business in partnership with CCS.
Which is great for them, yes.
Yeah.
But basically how the whole school is structured, it's kind of set up like the real world. It's kind of set up by like it would be set up at Nike.
Yeah.
So you have your footwear design team, your color material design team, and then your marketing and brand design team. And I applied for the color material design program which I didn't even really know what that meant at the time. I was one of 6 international students that they selected for this one course that they had. They had multiple courses, throughout their time here. They brought me out. I came out. It was like a 3-week program with sponsored by Vibram, the outsole brand at the time. And, I drank that Kool-Aid, man. Like, I did. I drank the pencil Kool-Aid. It was the first time I realized, like, I feel like the shoes are almost a metaphor in hindsight.
Yeah.
With the way Dwayne Edwards, former director of Nike Jordan, who runs the program, and Suzette Henry, also former Nike employee, they kind of run the program as, it's all about footwear, but it's almost a metaphor for just getting a corporate job.
Yeah, sure.
And, like, bringing you into this new world. And at the time, my experience was a lot more, like, small businesses or entrepreneurial kind of businesses. This was like, oh, no, you can actually get a corporate job. Here's how to work on your portfolio. Here's how your resume should be. Here's what professionalism is,
yeah.
on top of all the footwear training, right? It's kind of almost like just a professional development course.
Well, it also like makes sense because it almost feels like an apprenticeship in its own way, not unlike you going and working at that cobbler.
Exactly.
Like,
unlocking a whole new world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like you go twice, you do the initial kind of study, and then you come back for that competition with Foot Locker x Asics Tiger.
The corporate sponsors there, Foot Locker and Asics. Yeah. And that one was crazy too because they filmed the whole thing. So it was very like reality show coded. It never got released. I don't know why. But they did film the entire thing, kind of like the making of it. And it is a competition. And I don't know how, but I pulled several all-nighters back to back, which I never even did in college.
Yeah.
But for this competition, you're just so hyped up and so in the moment with all these like people from literally all around the world. Like English is not everyone's first language.
Yeah, I was gonna say like one of your teammates is from Taipei.
Yeah, another one from Indonesia.
Yeah,
and another one from I think Chicago. So yeah,
but yeah, like that's a really exciting thing to sort of be thrown into and to be learning this practice, like this craft in a way that you were learning before in a totally different
opposite world.
Yeah.
Total opposite world that I would have never had access to.
While you're still doing that job in Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
At the University of Pittsburgh. Up until March of 2019, when you moved to Portland.
Yeah. One of the best things about finding, like, okay, I knew after that second time at Pencil, I was like, I'm going to be a color material designer in the footwear industry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can actually say it. Like, I know what I'm going to do. This is it. But it never happened, right? So I tried. So this was pre-2020 as well. So the world was all in person. And I was still living in Pittsburgh and I was applying to jobs. I was applying to contracts at Nike, Adidas, everywhere. And I would get to like, second or third rounds on the phone and they'd be like, oh, wait, you're not local? And I'm like, but I can get local if you get me a job, right?
Yeah.
And that just kept happening. And then my supportive partner at the time, who was also super adventurous, he's like, well, let's just go.
Yeah.
Like, let's just do it and then see what happens.
That's a big leap.
It is a big leap.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I knew nothing about the city. Like, my experience was with Pencil, which is an old town.
Yeah.
And then where we stayed was in Lloyd Center. So that was my experience of, I know.
Yeah, the two weirdest places you could be.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So yeah, you're really coming in with no grounding necessarily.
No. So then we came out to Portland and then I did the interviews again. And I actually had 3 failed interviews on site at Nike. And I didn't get a single job for color material design. And I was losing my mind a little bit, because, having this thing like ambition is, it's the best and worst thing ever, right? It's kind of like this toxic, poisonous mindset, right?
Yeah.
Where like every day you don't have this thing, you feel terrible, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it came to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to kind of pivot, right? Because I was still working freelance actually for the Pit. They were really nice about still giving me work every now and again to keep things going while I chased this passion. But I landed a communication design role at Nike on campus. And I was like, okay, maybe this is actually what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I kind of backed up, and I was on campus so I could talk to people who are color material designers, some pencil people who became color material designers. And I talked to a lot of communication designers on campus as well. And I was like, actually, this might be my world. This is kind of what I've been doing.
You're doing like brand stuff. You're doing like all the support stuff essentially that makes.
Yeah. I basically worked on the strategy team for Nike.net, which is their B2B end of the business.
Yeah.
And I worked essentially for the VP. So it's, again, back to that high intensity, super intense. Everything is an emergency, right? Every pixel's important.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. So it was, which was no brainer for me, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like a very big job, but 2020 rolls around.
Yep. Sure did.
Sure did. Can't deny that. It happened. And I think there's kind of two big things that happen. One is you leave Nike in May, but also you start working with AIGA Portland.
Yeah. So with Nike, they kind of, during COVID, they kind of slow rolled a lot of contractors, just kind of didn't renew just to see till they figured out where they were going. And at the time, I was like, wow, it took me so long to get here. I don't even know where I'm at, but I can't imagine graduating right now and having to figure this out during this pandemic.
Yeah.
I was like, this seems insane. So I went to an AIGA volunteer meeting on Zoom, and all the different kind of committee leaders kind of speak up what their pillars are. And Angela Larish spoke up about the education committee, which she was running at the time. And I was like, yes, that's where I want to be, because I don't know how I got here. I don't know where I'm going, and I want to help other people figure it out.
Sure, yeah.
That's kind of what it was.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And that ends up leading to a thing that I feel like is a big part of what AIGA Portland does, is the mentorship program specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it started that year. It was Angela's brainchild, and I was just the executioner. It was basically just the two of us on Zoom. I didn't even meet her for so long. And we were just trying to figure out, okay, let's try to connect students with professionals just on Zoom.
Yeah.
And just for 6 weeks or something like that. And, maybe if we get like 10 people to do it, we'll call it a success. And, she's from the area, so she knew how to connect everyone. And at the time, I'm like, I didn't realize like making can be something else, right?
Yeah.
And not always having to produce something. Like, we were making a program, and it felt great.
Yeah.
Right. It kind of opened my eyes to that. And I think that first year we had like 30 connections, which is crazy. So we're like, wow, I guess there's a need for this. People want this thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is a lot of desire for a helping hand into this industry.
Absolutely.
I see this from students all the time. Like,
yeah.
It can feel, and it also sounds like you've experienced this too. Like, it can feel so scary to try to be like, well, what jobs are out there? What is the right opportunity to take versus turn down? Like,
demystify it, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, that becomes so much easier when you have somebody who is being like, yeah, there's this and this and this that you have to know in order to kind of understand how that works.
Exactly. And we've been doing this program, I think, 6 years now, and we kind of tweak it every year to get a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think that makes it special and successful, for the pairs at least, is that we spend a lot of time focusing on the matches. So we ask a lot of questions on the application from both the mentees and the mentors prior. And then we kind of print out these applications and we really sift through them, the whole education committee, not just us two. And we try to find common threads between them, because we find those make the best connections, right? It's not just what people want to do or what they're doing for work. We're like, okay, you're both really hype on running, or like, oh, you both really like anime. And sometimes those make the best connections.
Yeah, it can be surprising what ends up, guiding that stuff. But I mean, it sounds like a lot of those connections have been pretty helpful for folks. So that it's a great thing. And I know that there's a lot of Portlanders who listen to this, a lot of younger folks. Probably a good thing to get involved with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, applications typically open up in the fall on AIGA's website.
Yeah. So, you are kind of getting that kicked off. You're getting that started. In March of 2021, you join Xbox.
Yeah.
How's that happen?
It was luck, man. I got so lucky. Being primed for opportunity. But yes, I got very lucky. There was a lot of hiring going on at the time. I actually had 3 interviews for contracts with Microsoft all in the same week.
Interesting.
And I was just going to take the first one that got back to me at the point. I was like, anybody, please.
Yeah.
And it happened to be with Xbox. And again, I got so lucky just getting a foot in the door there. And that was, believe it or not, 5 years ago, which is insane because on a lot of ways, it feels like 10 years.
Yeah, it's the way time has passed, I would say, since the year 2020 has been very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very long and also very quick.
Yes.
Doesn't make sense.
It's wild.
What happened? But yeah, that you've been there kind of long time now.
Yeah.
And like you eventually work your way up to your current title, Senior Visual Design Lead for Player Experience, Editorial, and Loyalty Team.
Yeah, another mouthful. Classic.
Again, big institutions. That's what happens.
Yeah. When I started, it was just me and one other designer. And we were just kind of this bridge between product and marketing. We were kind of brought on almost like a little internal agency. And now I believe there's, or we made it up to about 6 other designers on the team.
That's still,
which is crazy.
That feels like very lean for what I would expect would be like so many more folks. That's
well,
kind of wild.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely other design teams as well.
Sure.
But for our little neck of the woods, we like to kind of, we focus really on Game Pass. Which is
right.
Like almost the Netflix of gaming for people who don't know. It's like a subscription service. You get access to a whole bunch of games. A lot of what we do is kind of getting people into Game Pass to play more games. So essentially creating ads in a way. And then once they're in Game Pass, I think a lot about the player experience once they're already in there. Like, how do we get them to play more games? How do we get them to find this weird game that they might like and try some new things?
Yeah.
So it's marketing, but it doesn't really feel salesy, right? Like,
no.
It's a good, like, you already have a console. You're already halfway there,
Yeah, and that's one of those where, it does feel like you are connecting folks with a resource that is just accessible to them, which is kind of neat, know? A fairly easy sell, I would imagine, ultimately.
So one thing that we do a lot of is just kind of promoting games, right? So putting box art on an asset with a cool background.
Yeah.
So, I've probably made thousands of these in my life. But when I first started, I made a little whoopsie on one of them. I put Far Cry 6 instead of Far Cry 5 on a Game Pass ad.
Oh, no.
Which was, Far Cry 6 was not in Game Pass. Far Cry 5 was. And I found out about it through an email that got forwarded 1,000 times that finally made it to me at the bottom of the food chain, where it said, it was a screenshot of Twitter, I believe it was at the time, and it was all in Polish. People were discussing about Far Cry 6, and everybody in Poland was like, no, that must be an error. Oh, maybe they leaked and it's coming to Game Pass. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, no, I'm so mad. I just bought that game for so much money. So there was a whole discourse. So I felt like I upset an entire nation with my blunder.
Oh, no. All of Poland's gamers are going to be coming after you.
It's like I broke hearts.
But I could also understand it. That's a lot of numbers. Far Cry, maybe space out your releases a little much if you're up to 6 now.
But I mean, that's the beauty of working in digital, though, is we were able to kind of catch it, delete it, fix it, right?
Yeah.
My boss was super cool about it at the time, but I was still, it still burns a little bit. Sorry, Poland. If you're listening, Poland, sorry.
Yeah, I you know what? I am fairly sure that we do have listeners in Poland. So
Amazing.
If you are one of those listeners, let us know. Did you see that?
Yeah. Another thing we do a lot of is, so there's like kind of the standard things, but I think what our team does is, we bring that scrappy nature to the team as well. And we make a lot of memes or meme-like content.
Sure.
So it's not quite social media where you can just go do whatever you want. Like social media is the Wild West of content, right?
Yeah.
This is still essentially on Editorial. So it's on your console. It's on your PC Game Pass. It's, on these things. So we can't go too crazy, but we try to get close, right? We try to make you look a little bit. And sometimes it works out great. Sometimes it doesn't. Like I know our Valentine meme campaigns always get picked up on Reddit. People are just like, what? A little unhinged.
Do you remember some of the Valentines?
Yeah. Well, one of them was very graphic designer coded, which we loved. And we weren't sure how gamers were going to take it. It was for Diablo. It was a picture of Lilith, who's kind of this demon looking character. And the caption we wrote was, she'll rip your heart out, literally. And there was a picture of her, but then we slapped an emoji heart on it. And it kind of looked too real. So we're like, we should put a fake PNG background behind the heart.
Like poorly knocked out. It's got the grid.
Yes, with the grid, the white and gray grid. So we put that behind it. And they let us ship it, which was amazing. And, publishers have to approve as well. And then that got picked up on Reddit, and half the people thought it was a mistake, but then half the people were like, no, we know what you did there.
Yeah,
we get it. We know those memes.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. And it's also, we're also in this weird AI world now, too, where sometimes we had this instance recently where we kind of, for one of these ads, we had kind of some funny text, and we're like, okay, well, we didn't really have the asset that we needed that fit right. So we kind of mashed together a couple screenshots, which normally is fine, but for a pixel-based game, really hard.
Oh, yeah.
And we really had no business doing it.
Yeah.
But to like a normal person, you'd be like, oh yeah, that looks like a scene. But whenever you put the ad up live and these people who are in these worlds for, hundreds of hours, they know every little flaw, right?
Yeah.
They could tell something was off. So we had an issue with that one. And then everyone just called it AI. And we're like, it wasn't AI. We just made a human mistake. Like, where's the room for human error now?
Yeah.
But you can't say that either. You can't say, no, that was my bad.
No.
That doesn't make it okay either.
Yeah. I mean, I am curious, are there any other creative mistakes, you might say, that you can think of maybe having encountered over your career?
Yeah. If we want to go back in time,
please.
The only other mistake that I was really top of mind, this feels like a bit of a confessional at this point, looking back at your career, like, when I was at Mosaic, I talked a little bit about learning taste at Mosaic, because when you're younger, you don't really have good taste, right? I think
it takes time.
Yeah, Ira Glass has a whole bit on it, right? And he's not wrong. There's still one event that makes me cringe a bit. So I was working on a gala for a hotel downtown. It was a fire and ice event, which is a common theme.
I was going to say, that's an old-fashioned, I imagine people wearing tuxes.
There's always a gala, fire and ice gala, right? Somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
But I knew nothing about it, right? Like, to me, it was just like any other thing. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
But, I also did no research to know that was an existing theme. And I'm like, oh, okay, fire and ice. Okay, let's make the top of the table ice and the side fire. So I sold this team on, let's make the top of the table this light blue iridescent crush that's like this crinkled texture where it looks like silvery blue. And then the sides, I volunteered to hand pin the sides because these two-tone, there's two different linens together. You kind of got to get creative with how you put it together.
Yeah.
So I volunteered to hand pin this kind of crinkle cut Fortuny linen that was like this iridescent red and yellow color on the sides. So it looked horrible. I think we all know that, orange and blue are opposite on the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And these two textures had no business touching each other either. And I sold them on it. And I still remember going back, and I thought I did such a good job, right? The team was so happy. I convinced them. I convinced myself. And then I went back and, my boss, she was, like the Devil Wears Prada of taste, essentially. She just goes, which says all you need to know at the time.
You're in trouble.
You're like, what did I do? I was like, I made fire ice instead of fire and ice. It didn't even dawn on me.
I gotta say though, I see how you got there is the thing. I don't think you're wrong. It's just that it's inherently a weird idea that is not self-explanatory
not at all.
in any way, shape, or form. But I could see how that works, though.
It worked for them. It worked. They still had a great gala.
Oh, so they also didn't really know what fire and ice was.
Well, they just, I think that's the thing is they were looking to me to be the tastemaker. It wasn't a sales position. I wasn't just trying to make the sale right. They wanted me for taste, and I just gave them bad taste. So they were all good with it because I approved. We all approved, You know
what I'm realizing? The ultimate fire and ice movie, to your point, I think is the movie Batman and Robin, where Mr. Freeze is there. And I feel like there's always big bursts of fire from
and then you got Poison Ivy coming in.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's sort of plants and ice, which is an even worse, connection. I don't think plants like ice.
I don't think so either.
No.
But it is a gala I would attend. Should I be invited?
So listeners, we've given you your task. Start a gala of plants and ice.
Plants and ice, please.
Yeah, please. Gianni, thank you so much
for
being here.
Thanks for having me. This is a dream come true. I love it.
I'm so glad to have you here. Where can people find you if they want to find more about you?
Well, yeah, you can see me at gscarp.com.
Your brand new website.
Brand new, fresh and clean, yeah.
Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
And also, hey, one more thank you to all of you out there for listening. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe wherever it is that you found the show, or visit dididothat.design to find out all the places you can. And hey, maybe give us a rating, maybe give us a review, maybe share the show around. It's really genuinely very helpful. I know I'm glib about it often, but it is a big help. This has been Did I Do That? I am Sean Shoemaker. And as we always say at the close of every episode,
did I do that?
That's what we always say. Okay, bye! Bye! I don't know. I think there's like there's some magic in that I don't totally understand.
Well, you also can't control all of it either, right?
No.
It's such a living thing.
Yeah, it's like...
And it's kind of a gamble, too, because, you
didn't
know me before this.
No.
But this is the risk.
Yeah, and
I could be crazy. You don't know.
I mean, honestly, that might be good for audio, but...